Okay. Well, let's call the Commissioners' meeting to order at 10 o'clock. All those able, please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right. Do we have any members of the public here for comments on items that don't appear on today's agenda? All right. If you'd approach the podium and tell us your name and which municipality you reside in.
Thank you very much. My name is Laura Danini, and I reside in Ferguson Township, Center County. Today, I'm just here to give brief comments on a crisis, I'm not sure, unfolding still in the western end of Ferguson Township related to the improper management of Rock Springs Water Company and subsequent 529 proceeding initiated by the PUC. My comments will be brief, and what I will be doing is reading 2 paragraphs from my comments, not comments, my sworn testimony to Judge Coogan on September 30th, 2025, during a public hearing time in Ferguson Township, and then 2 paragraphs from the judge's recommendation for moving forward that was just put out this month. Thank you. I do believe I will stay mostly within 5 minutes, despite
it's
my
actually 3
slow start. Thank you.
Yeah.
And I'll be jumping into 10 pages of comments, so it's going to be a little disorienting on mine, but, right, it's 2 paragraphs. Now, no matter how well informed one is, one always can learn something if we are listening. And what's been most eye-opening to me today as I listen to my fellow community members is the stark differences of personal experiences with the owner of this water company. Now, I certainly agree with my neighbor that said earlier, fairness is very important, and I think that many agree. It's a characteristic of good relationships and of good community leaders' actions. So when I learn of things like some customers paying rates and others having unmetered water lines where they do not pay for the water that they use, I wonder why that was permitted all these years. Because we know that income is essential to repair infrastructure, and so when the Rock Spring Water Company was asking for rate increases, I wonder why no one ever pointed out the revenue loss they were incurring from the unmetered taps. September 2025. February 2026, the judge issues his recommendation to the commissioners. Item 133 and 134, brief. Pennsylvania American Water Company has discovered that significant portions of the distribution system were installed on private land with no easement or other property rights secured. This includes a storage tank located on land owned by the Pennsylvania State University, Penn State, which is used for agricultural activities, including Penn State Ag Progress Days. Rock Spring Water Company has an oral agreement with Penn State allowing the tank and distribution system on Penn State's property in exchange for free water. Pennsylvania American Water Company statement supplemental at 3-4. Next paragraph and final paragraph. Pennsylvania American Water Company has determined that this tank is critical to the operation of Rock Spring Water Company, as there is only one well and the tank provides backup to the well in case of equipment failure and water for fire flows. If Pennsylvania American Water Company acquires the Rock Spring Water Company water system, Pennsylvania American Water Company will have to negotiate with Penn State to meter and charge for water service, finally, and to acquire an easement for the tank and distribution lines, as well as ingress and egress. And so, thank you for allowing me those moments. In sum, I would say that in exchange for what should have been a simple property exchange easement process, the owner of that company allowed Penn State free water for decades at the vast agricultural site. And basically, the 600 households are basically footing the bill for all of that water. And so I think that being that Penn State is seen as a good community partner, now would be the time for them to step forward to be part of the conversation about what we are going to do about all of the lost revenue and the $16 to $20 million that we need to repair the system. Thank you.
Great, thanks. Thank you for your comments, Laura. All right, moving on, do we have any additions to the agenda from the board? No? Okay. Moving on to the meeting minutes, if they're good, we'll take a motion.
I'll move that we approve the minutes from the meeting held February 17th.
Second.
We have a motion, a second, to approve the minutes from the meeting held on February 17th. All those in favor do so by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed, nay. Motion carries. Now we have Greg Scott, the Executive Director of the CBICC, with their impact report presentation. Oh, and it looks like
We
it's
got it
already
up there.
queued up on the
Who
screen.
controls, Aaron, are you advancing that, or how's that advancing?
Or, I mean, could we have him sit right here? So
Oh, sure.
It gives,
Okay, oh.
yeah, it
Oh, I
gives
didn't
all
know.
three cameras better angles.
There you go.
Perfect.
There you have
No.
it. Right there it is.
And what does he hit, like the enter button?
Arrows, yeah. I don't think your mic's on though, it's red.
Oh, you push the button,
There you
There
go.
we
the
go.
oval button.
I got it. Okay,
Thanks for
well,
coming.
thank you for having me.
You're welcome.
Appreciate it. Good morning. So thank you for your, I was coming to, let me see if I can make this work here. Hold on a second.
You might be able to just use
There we go. There we go. So again, thank you for having me this morning, and thank you for your continued partnership and for your $25,000 annual investment in the Chamber of Business and Industry of Center County. I want to use our time today to show you clearly how that investment is working, how it is helping to grow our economy, support job creation, strengthen small businesses, improve air service, address housing challenges, and advance the Centre Valley Strategic Initiative. Your funding is not a contribution. It is leveraging capital, and it's
Do you need
producing
something, Gary?
results.
No, okay, sorry.
It's all right. CBICC represents more than 700 member businesses, with 49 new members added in 2025. Behind those numbers are thousands of employees and families who are contributing to Center County's tax base and quality of life. Your $25,000 investment helps power a $1.1 million organization that serves as the convener, connector, and catalyst for our regional economy. It allows us to align business, municipal leadership, education, healthcare, and finance around a shared economic strategy. One of the most measurable outcomes this year was workforce development. At our Center County Spring Job Fair, we connected 280 job seekers, generated 120 interviews, and resulted in 75 job placements. That's 75 households with new income, stability, and purchasing power right here in Center County. In addition, we made 26 direct workforce referrals, held more than 250 business and partner meetings, and fielded 17 prospect business inquiries. This is economic development at the ground level, employer by employer, job by job. Through our revolving loan fund and small business concierge partnership, we supported 60 small and early stage businesses, deployed $700,000 in capital. I think I went too far. Sorry about that. Well, no, I didn't. The funding fills gaps traditional leaders often can't address, particularly for startups, expanding small businesses, and rural entrepreneurs. Small businesses are the backbone of Center County's economy. When they grow, our tax base grows. When they succeed, our communities thrive. Your investment helps to keep that capital working locally. We all know that workforce growth depends on housing availability. In 2025, CBICC served as a neutral convener, aligning developers, financial institutions, elected leaders, and employers in conversations around housing supply and development barriers. The upcoming Housing Summit is a great example of regional partnership that you are actively engaging. Nearly 15% of our membership comes from real estate, development, and construction sectors. That gives us a unique ability to bring data, business perspective, and practical solutions to the table. We are not the regulatory authority, but we are helping facilitate alignment so that economic growth is matched with housing capacity. Air service remains a critical business retention and attraction tool. In partnership with the Airport Authority, Penn State, HVAB, and regional employers, we convene stakeholders through the Air Service Summit and ongoing discussions. This is not about convenience, this is about competitiveness. When companies evaluate Center County, access to reliable and expanded air service is part of that equation. Your support allows us to help build the business case for additional routes and stronger connectivity. Center Valley represents one of our highest long-term growth opportunities. In 2025, we convened industry leaders and pursued additional funding through the U.S. Economic Development Administration, the ARC Power Grants, PREP, Engage, and Senator Fetterman's office. This is about building a high-growth, high-wage industry cluster rooted in our regional strengths. If successful, this strategy will move us from incremental growth to transformational growth, attracting federal investment and positioning Center County nationally in advancing sensor technologies. CBICC also serves as the communications backbone of our business community. In 2025, we sent over 400,000 emails, reached 62,000 web visitors, and grew to nearly 7,000 social media followers, up 11% over the previous year. That reach allows us to share workforce opportunities, promote development conversations, highlight strategic priorities, and align messaging during key policy discussions. When businesses need to mobilize or align with county initiatives, we provide that infrastructure. So what did your $25,000 investment help produce in 2025? It helped fill over 75 jobs, deploy $700,000 to local businesses. We supported 60 entrepreneurs, connected 280 job seekers, seeked federal funding to pursue Center Valley, and strengthened our air service advocacy, aligned conversations around housing and development, and convened over 700 businesses under one economic strategy. That is measurable economic impact. So in closing, commissioners, we view the county not as a funding partner, but as a strategic partner in long-term economic leadership. Your investment helps ensure that Center County remains competitive, collaborative, and forward-looking. On behalf of the 700-plus businesses and thousands of employees they represent, thank you for your trust and your partnership. I'm happy to answer any questions you may have.
Well, thanks so much for coming, Greg. We appreciate what you and your team have been doing. I think you are forgetting one group, though. You didn't mention all the nonprofits that are members of your organization
Yes,
as well.
we have many
Yes.
nonprofits, nearly 200
Right.
out of the 700
Yes.
business members that we have. So, yeah, that's an oversight on my part.
Oh, that's
But It's
okay.
a strong part of our business community as our
One of my
nonprofits.
major reasons for running for commissioner was to help our small business and nonprofit community, and you're the largest organization in the county that serves those two
That's correct.
groups. So,
Yeah, yeah.
very near and dear to my heart.
Yep.
Please do the job fair again. That was tremendously successful.
Well,
And
we're
we-
looking forward to it. It's
Yeah.
scheduled April 7th,
Oh.
I believe. No, not April 7th. It's, Melissa, do you know?
If she doesn't, I can find it.
Okay, it's coming. It's coming up in April, but yeah. So we're excited to do that and build on with the success of last year. In fact, this year we've even connected with high schools. So we have State College and Bellefonte both sending a busload of students
Good.
to the job fair, which is pretty exciting.
It is April 23rd
Okay.
at C3 from 1 to 4.
Okay.
All right, so you are going to do that very successful job fair again on April 23rd, starting, I believe, at roughly 1 o'clock to 4 o'clock
That's correct.
I can send JJ.
at C3 Sports.
Yep.
And that was fabulous. As you said, 75 jobs filled. Great for the individuals and great for the businesses. Also like to thank you for loaning Todd to us, for him assisting us in the affordable and, affordable to regular citizens type housing initiatives we have underway. And with Sensor Valley, great initiative. It'll leverage a lot of the Penn State intellectual property.
That's right.
And I could go on and on and on, but I should turn over to Commissioner Concepcion. We got a lot on the agenda today.
Yep.
Well, yeah, thanks for being here and for your presentation, really highlighting what's been going on over the past year. So many different initiatives underway, and really appreciate, as Commissioner Higgins had mentioned, the partnership on the affordable
Great.
housing initiatives. The support that your office has provided in, organizing the forum that we have coming up in March, which is March 4th, I think.
March 4th, yes,
Yes.
yeah,
And.
which is
so
next
we'll be-
week.
Yes.
So we're bringing together stakeholders for a discussion around, what can we do to move forward with more attainable housing in this region.
Yeah.
So, kind of,
Very much looking forward to that and continuing our work on affordable. It's a critical issue. One of the top issues that we identified in the Center County Economic Development Strategic Plan, housing was one of the top issues that we needed to focus on. And I'm really pleased to see the focus that has begun and will continue over this next year.
I'm sure something you hear from employers in the area is that, the need for more attainable housing for workforce. And
Oh,
that's-
absolutely. Workforce and having workforce and attracting workforce is directly linked to housing and affordability, housing stock, having the availability of it. So
Yep.
it is definitely one of the items that we focus on regularly.
It's so interconnected with everything else you're
Absolutely.
doing. Yeah. Yeah, and I think the Sensor Valley Industry Initiative, that's really, I think, good to have, a focus, seeing something that where we already have a strength and how can we build on that. I think that's a really, hopefully going to be a very fruitful path.
Yeah, and that is I think, as I mentioned in my remarks, it's a long-term endeavor. I mean, building this out, connecting these companies that haven't previously really connected together, to the point where they even talk about sharing workforce. I mean, opportunities where one gets slow to be able to connect with others that are booming and share that workforce is very interesting and something we found out. The other great thing about the Sensor Valley is it's really connected us to Penn State in a deeper level, allowing us to serve as kind of the opportunity to show them what the front door to the university is, how they get into the
Right.
university. There's many front doors to the
Yeah.
university, so opening those pathways has been really valuable to those companies.
You touched on air service.
Yes.
What, could you maybe expand upon some of the importance of
Yeah, so, I mentioned housing is one of those critical issues. The air service and expanding air service and providing connectivity is so critical to our economic growth. So we did a lot of work in the past year. I mentioned the Housing Summit. We also did a leakage study, which is a critical study
Yeah.
that collects data to be able to have a conversation with airlines. They do not collect this data. The community has to collect it. So we led an effort
Right.
to collect that.
It's not the best term. Leakage refers to people who live in the center county or surrounding counties who drive to places like Harrisburg or Pittsburgh to get flights.
That is correct. So
Yes.
it's really a demand
Yeah.
study. It's probably the
Yes,
better
it's
way.
a better
In the
term.
industry, they call it a leakage study, but it is in a 60-mile radius around
Yeah.
the airport. All the people that live in there that flew over the last year, where did
Yeah.
they fly out of, and where did they fly to? And that data
Mm-hmm.
is absolutely critical for our conversations with the airlines. So we've done that. We started a Fly State College Fund, which is a fund, a community-led
Yeah.
fund that helps us sit at the table with these airlines and provide incentive packages that they all require and need when you're. So for us to be competitive with these airlines and expand our air service, we were able to do that. So the good thing is, we are actively engaged in talking to airlines currently. We've had 4 really productive meetings with airlines over the last 2 months. That's going to continue, and we've got some exciting interest from them, which hopefully we'll be able to share in due time. But yeah, it's exciting.
If you had a crystal ball and could look into the future and could say, yeah, this is the one hub we really need connectivity to, which one would that be?
Yeah, we've publicly said Charlotte is the hub that we really desire, and we I can say that we do have some interest from the airlines in Charlotte. So
Yeah.
that's the exciting conversation we're having. But we're also very interested in getting the flight back to Detroit, the Delta flight, and we have talked to Delta. They have an interest in coming back. Timing is through what they're doing corporately. It might be 2027 until that happens.
All right.
And our leakage study, our
Yeah.
demand study, also showed that the top 3 destinations people fly to out of our area is Florida. They fly to Orlando, St. Pete's, and Miami. So the opportunity to have a direct flight from State College to Florida, some location in Florida, is also would also be important for us to
Yeah.
add to our sort of landscape of air service.
I would agree with that.
Yeah.
Great, thank you.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Do we have questions from the press?
Just to clarify, you're talking to airlines, new airlines, new destinations, as opposed to current airlines and current destinations?
I would say we're talking to new airlines, but we're also talking to current airlines about new destinations. And I don't know if you saw the recent news, our 2 airlines that we have now, United and American, are expanding their service to the current destinations over this year. So starting in the spring and throughout the year, they'll be expanding flights to their current destinations. But we are actively seeking new destinations with those current airlines and new airlines.
I help one of signs the push for workforce housing. Is that an incentive, hopefully, to pull more people in to fill jobs that are open right now?
Yeah, we have 40% of our labor force in the county comes from outside the county. So we have a lot of employees that come into the county, but we also have a high desire from companies and individuals that want to live in Center County, throughout the county. So increasing that opportunity for those that want to choose to live here, I think is really important to our companies, new businesses or existing businesses that want to fill those jobs with people that live in the county.
Great questions, Gary. Any questions from the other press members?
Yeah, looking at some of the things that happened in this impact report, how is that influencing your goals for this year?
Yeah, our goals many of our goals are rooted in our economic development strategic plan, the Center County Economic Development Strategic Plan. So many of the things that you see that we worked on last year will be things that we continue. Housing, air service, workforce development, connecting companies to job seekers. These are all goals that we have, and we will be pushing forward to move forward. Sensor Valley, as I mentioned, is a multi-year initiative that we will continue to work on, and hopefully it'll just become standard for us in the county to be thinking about and working on Sensor Valley.
Great. All right. They're
good back there.
They're good?
I'm all
Okay.
just-
All right, you're hanging. All right. You're not wearing the right T-shirt, though.
Oh, that's subjective.
All right, okay.
They did win
I mean-
on
I mean, it's
Saturday night.
blue, you got the blue going on,
Yeah.
I
but,
am a Penn State fan. We just got national tickets through West Virginia last year. so
okay,
we-
all
I
right,
have to
all
represent the
right.
Merch a little bit.
Okay, okay, all right. Well, thanks again so much for coming, Greg, really
Yeah, thanks for
appreciate
having
it. Important topics here, our small business community, our nonprofits, many of them are members, and if they would like to become a member, it's cbicc.org?
Yes.
Yeah,
And they can get a hold of Melissa.
and they can get a hold of Melissa. Great.
That's
Well,
great.
thanks so much for coming, thank you.
Appreciate it, appreciate it.
Thanks.
Thank you.
All right, thanks.
Yeah, thanks.
Thanks, Mark.
You're welcome.
Keep up the good work.
All right, thanks.
All right, moving on in an action-packed agenda today. We have Cameron, I think, in the back. Come on up, Cameron, sit at the side table or at the podium, wherever you're more comfortable. And you're here to talk about Bleeding Disorders Month, which is March coming up.
Yep.
And I believe, actually, you're probably about to tell us bleeding disorders are a little more common than people might think.
Yeah, for sure. I'll just get started with my
Yeah.
little prepared script. So thank you, commissioners. Thank you, everyone else, for being here. Good morning, all. My name is Cameron Cedino. I am a member of the Western PA Bleeding Disorders Foundation. The foundation serves families and individuals across 26 counties in western Pennsylvania, including folks all the way out here in Center County, by providing education, support, advocacy, and patient assistance to those with bleeding disorders like hemophilia and von Willebrand's disease. Each year, we celebrate March as Bleeding Disorders Awareness Month to bring much-needed attention to inheritable blood and bleeding disorders. Von Willebrand's disease, the most common bleeding disorder, affects over 3% of the population, yet often goes undiagnosed. Women, in particular, are frequently misdiagnosed. Common symptoms include heavy and prolonged menstrual cycles, or menstrual periods, easy bruising, frequent nosebleeds, and excessive bleeding after injury or surgery. A little bit about myself. I was diagnosed with severe hemophilia B at birth. This means that my body produces less than 1% of a crucial clotting protein in the blood clot cascade. My family knew to have this test done when I was born because there's a family history of it. But unfortunately, a lot of people don't know their family history, and sometimes they might be the first person in their family line to have this mutation. So unfortunately, a lot of children go the first several years of their lives just bleeding often. They have really swollen joints all the time. They don't know why. And sometimes when you're diagnosed too late, there's already permanent damage done to your joints. And it's best to be diagnosed at birth, and one way to do that is by spreading awareness to everyone. I was lucky to be diagnosed at birth, and I was also born around the right time for modern medicine. So since I was an infant, I've been taking a clotting factor about twice a week through IV. I do that at home. When I was really little, we used to have to, I grew up outside of Pittsburgh, so we used to have to drive all the way up to Pittsburgh and have it done every so often at the Hemophilia Treatment Center there. Because of the awesome medicine that I've been able to have my whole life, I've lived a pretty normal life. I played sports all the way through high school. I still stay as active as I can. I feel very lucky in that regard. And one of the really cool things that the Western PA Bleeding Disorders Foundation does is they promote advocacy for everyone in the community. And when I was little, I used to go, we would call them Harrisburg Days or Washington Days, where we would travel to Harrisburg or Washington, D.C., and we'd advocate for ourselves. Typically every year there's I don't remember the exact line item budget, but we advocate for as much funding as possible to fund the treatment centers around Pennsylvania. I think there's 3 or 4 in the Philadelphia region, one in Hershey and one in Pittsburgh. These treatment centers are crucial to providing patients with access to the life-saving medication that they need. And advocacy is always a great thing, and it's taught me a lot, and I'll probably be going to Harrisburg later this spring to advocate again for my community. I think that spreading awareness is crucial to ensuring those affected receive proper diagnosis and care. Thank you for supporting the bleeding disorders community and shining a light on this rare disease. If you or a loved one are showing symptoms of a bleeding disorder, you can take an online risk assessment and get the information about testing and where to receive treatment at betteryouknow.org. Thank you.
Great, well, thanks for coming. Cameron, if you could repeat was it Better You Know?
Yep, betteryouknow.org.
Great. Appreciate that. As you mentioned, there's a lot of babies born where they're the first one in their family with this mutation. So parents do need to be on the lookout for, as you mentioned, the bruising, the joint issues, et cetera.
Yeah, definitely. And the part I mentioned where women often go undiagnosed, and really every year there's more and more programs dedicated toward women with bleeding disorders, because for all of history, hemophilia is mainly a male inherited trait because it's transferred on the X chromosome. So girls have two X chromosomes, so the other one comes in and provides the clotting protein. But so men had all the attention for many years, but the other bleeding disorders like von Willebrand's that aren't so obvious, but often, again, present in like really heavy and prolonged menstrual periods. A lot of women just kept that to themselves, private information, understand, but the more and more people we talk to and spread awareness of, they're like, oh, that's me, or, that sounds like someone I know. And just in the past couple years, in day-to-day conversations, I've probably spoke to about 7 people in the last year or two that were like, oh, wow, that sounds like me or someone like in my family. I need to, have them check out this link or talk to their local Bleeding Disorders Foundation. So I love spreading awareness, and thank you for having me.
Thanks,
Thank you.
Cameron. Commissioner Concepcion?
Yeah, thanks for sharing. And, I think, it sounds like some of the most important things are early detection. So being aware, for parents to be aware of these signs, with their children, and getting, testing as early as possible sounds like a really important factor. And then promoting further medical research, because it sounds like you've been a recipient of, relative, cutting edge treatment that is, made possible by having medical research supported through state and federal government funding sometimes.
Definitely. It was actually the hemophilia community that had a large role in kind of cleaning the blood supply in the 80s and 90s. Back then, a common treatment for folks with bleeding disorders was blood plasma transfusions, and a lot of folks contracted HIV that way. That's my uncle passed away from HIV. He had hemophilia, and that's how he contracted it. And I've recently met a lot of older gentlemen in their 50s and older with severe hemophilia B or similar severities who all either have multiple joint replacements or HIV or Hep C because of the treatments they used to get in the late 80s and 90s. And because medicine wasn't so good back then, they had these recurring joint bleeds that, deteriorated the cartilage around their joints. So, we're making great strides. The factor that I was on was developed right around the time I was born, so I got lucky, and now they're doing gene therapy and gene editing.
Yes.
So the future is looking bright, but we need to keep advocating and to keep spreading awareness.
Yeah.
Great. Commissioner Dershowitz?
No, I think it's fantastic that you're coming in and highlighting. It's an issue I don't think a lot of folks are familiar with, and certainly your awareness is very helpful. So thank you for coming in this morning.
Great. Question, Gary, or? No? Okay. So Cameron, if you'd come on up, and I think I see JJ out in the hallway. There you go with the camera. So. All right. Oh, yes. All right. Are we good, JJ?
Oh, we're great.
Oh, we're great? Okay. Oh, catching
This
the
is
edge of the
less
mic.
great.
All right.
Oh, excellent, excellent. Smile on 3, 1, 2, 3. Excellent, great stuff.
Can you do a quick one with the?
Oh, yeah, sure.
They like to post these as soon as
Yes.
possible. Gotcha.
This way.
Thank you so much.
Thanks.
Thanks for having me again.
You're welcome.
Yeah, good to meet you. Thank you.
Pleasure seeing you.
Take it.
And I think we
Thank you.
actually need to
Need,
take a
still need to take
motion.
action, yep.
Trying to
Oh,
move us along a little
That's
too
okay.
quickly.
I'll move that we adopt Proclamation 8 of 2026, proclaiming March 2026 as Bleeding Disorders Month in Center County.
I will second that.
We have a motion and a second to adopt Proclamation 8 of 26, proclaiming March of 26 as Bleeding Disorders Month in Center County. All those in favor do so by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed nay. Motion carries. Again, thank you for coming, Cameron. And now, continuing the names that start with the letter C, we've got Chris here for a couple of different MOUs on several different projects. Kind of see at least one newspaper article just on this particular item.
There's a good chance.
Yes.
Thank you very much, and good morning, everybody. As Commissioner Higgins said, we have two memorandums of understanding on the agenda for today. But before I get to those, just a real quick reminder of what these particular MOUs or memorandums of understanding do in this particular instance. It's these are three-party agreements, and it's an agreement between the developer, the township, and the county, whereby the developer agrees to reimburse the township for the costs associated with the township engineers processing, reviewing, inspecting, and approving the engineering details of the plan. The commissioners aren't approving the plan, it's just the agreement for reimbursement costs through those three parties.
Okay, good point.
And now the MOUs, the first one that's going to be discussed is for the Homeland Manufacturing Building Addition. And this is a final plan, and it shows the development of a 10,000 square foot addition onto the existing Homeland Manufacturing Services building. And there's also other corresponding infrastructure with this, such as additional parking, stormwater management controls, and lighting. To give a sense of where this is located in the Benner Commerce Park, we have the State Police Barracks at item number 5, and then just south of that is the Cleveland Brothers Parts and Distribution Facility with the recent Amazon warehouse that was constructed just to the east.
There's a very much easier way to find it.
Yes,
It has a giant American flag.
Absolutely
does.
massive. Yes.
you are correct. And this is the aerial shot of the existing facility of Homeland Manufacturing Services. And where the addition is going to go on the eastern end of the facility with additional parking. And the plan that was prepared by Pentair Engineering shows the 10,000 square foot addition along with the proposed parking. There is an existing stormwater facility that they're going to be tying the existing impervious coverage into the stormwater facility. And that's the plan for Homeland Manufacturing. And if anybody has any questions, I'm going to just jump right into the next
They're
MOU.
a great company, do electronics manufacturing, locally owned, one of our many success stories here in
They
Center
do, and
County.
there's two tenants in that building.
Yeah.
It's KCF Technologies and Homeland Manufacturing.
Great
I
partnership.
think they do similar type of sensors and circuitry card production.
Oh, sensors just came up again.
Yes.
Yes.
And the next MOU is for the MPG Solar Project, and this is located mostly in Burnside Township, but also partially in Snowshoe Township. And this proposal also constitutes a final plan submission, and it's going to show the development of approximately 908 acres for a 162 megawatt solar facility on 9 parcels of land. And there's the corresponding infrastructure includes stormwater management, access roads, equipment pad areas, and substations. The property, the development area is about 1.5 miles south of Pine Glen. So if you go up north a little bit along 879, you're going to hit Pine Glen, and then the village of Moshannon is down on the southeastern part. And it's a little bit difficult to see. The purple line is the municipal line between Burnside and Snowshoe. And then there's Moshannon Creek, which is on the western side is Clearfield, and then we have Center County. The next slide is just going to be a snippet of the overall stormwater management, or it's not stormwater, the solar facility.
Thanks, John.
Thank you, John. And the areas in black are the actual solar panels, and then the solar panels, and where the switchyard and substation are going to go is along what's called Short Dog Lane, which is on the eastern side of 879. You can make out the very large existing electrical utility line, which is where they're going to be tying in the energy that's generated from this facility to the switchyard and substation, then it's going to tie itself into the electrical grid at that point. And that is the MOU for the MPG solar project in Burnside and Snowshoe Township, and those are the two MOUs that the commissioners are being presented with today.
Well, thanks, Chris. Two big MOUs today, and I certainly hope this solar array might do something about electric costs in Center County. That would be very helpful. Commissioner Concepcion?
Yeah, good to see expansion of a local business like this, especially, one is like a high-tech field that's very in demand. So glad to see that, and always glad to see investment in renewable energy. So that sounds like a good project. We need to diversify our energy sources and more demand on the grid with the rise of data centers. So.
Thanks, Commissioner Concepcion. Commissioner Dershowitz?
No, just thank you for the presentation, really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Yeah, appreciate that, Chris. Questions from the press on these two items? Jacob?
Yeah, I got one related to the solar project. So just kind of other side of the northern part of the county over in Rush Township, you might know that there's another solar project going on where they're using a lot of reclaimed acid mine, strip lands. I didn't know if you knew, is this project also going to be like repurposing some of that abandoned and discarded land, or is it going to be just placed atop of existing land that was already there?
A lot of it is former strip mine properties, and we have a representative from the developer, David Brown, here as well. A lot of it is old strip mine area. Some of it has started to grow back a little bit with vegetation, but it's not occurring on any really productive lands.
And then maybe this isn't a question for you or perhaps a developer, but is there a timeline available for when the development might be completed or started, or I guess all of that above?
Good question.
Thank you.
Can I take it?
Sure.
Sure.
David Brown.
David Brown with Energex Renewables, happy to be here. So yes, we have a timeline. We are getting to an NTP date right now. We're looking for an NTP date of November, where we can start cutting and clearing the trees and start construction. We had tried to start that earlier as March, as in next month. I was on the phone last week with the governor's office and with the regional directors of DEP, trying to work around some environmental issues. So we are trying to pursue every avenue to get to NTP as quickly as possible. And the COD date, right now we're looking at the second half of 2028. Best case scenario would be middle of 28. Worst case scenario would be closer to the end of 28.
But while we have you here, are there any mitigation efforts, since you're building it on top of reclaimed mine property? Are there any mitigation efforts involved in the construction process that might help with any of the acid runoff that is often accompanying that, or is it?
Sure. So for transparency, I'm not an engineer.
Nor am I.
I work with all the stakeholders and everybody and some of the financiers to get things together. We work on a lot of reclaimed sites. It's pretty common for us, and we have standard operating procedures as far as design elements that we need to put in. But we're working with all of the regulatory agencies right now to make sure that everything is done by the book, and that the work that's being put in, the design, will be for the long-term benefit of the community, including mitigating any potential issues with environmental concerns. So I just don't have the technical expertise. I can certainly get back to you in terms of specific steps.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what I can say for now.
All right. If you ever get a chance, I would really appreciate what it actually takes to perform the process, because obviously you're going to be disturbing some of that acid mine property, and I don't know if that's a deleterious effect, long term, or whether there are mitigation efforts that make that a little, ease that a little bit. I'm just more curious, and since we're probably going to be hearing more and more about this type of activity throughout our county.
Yep.
It would be helpful.
I'm going to try and get you that answer before the end of this meeting.
Perfect, thank you.
Well, great, thanks. be one of our longer meetings, so you will have a few
All right,
minutes.
perfect. Can I take just a minute and provide an update on
Sure.
what we're doing?
Yeah.
So as I mentioned last week, the NRX team was assembled to meet with senior folks at DEP as well as the governor's office. We have our MPDES permit in place,
yes.
which they're reviewing right now. It's gone through first round of review for completeness, and now they're going through the technical review right now. We've had our land development plan submitted to Center County, and we've gotten some preliminary feedback that we're working through right now. And last night, I convened a training session for the fire departments in Pine Glen, Snowshoe, and the EMS
good.
office for Snowshoe as far as training first responders to respond to anything that might need their presence at the site, and that'll be an ongoing process. As we get to final design, we'll give them very specific information on how to deal with that. So the pieces are coming together. The NTP date is getting there, and everyone's looking forward to it. And yeah, that's what I can say.
Great. Well, wonderful first responders in Center County, and I've been to the Pine Glen Fire Station several times. It's a mile and a half away, so
Right.
or less. So something should happen. Hopefully, they'll be right on it.
We had a big pizza party last night, so
Yeah.
I think I won some hearts and minds.
Stay
Oh, good.
Stay on our good side then.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, absolutely.
Yeah. Additional questions from the press? No. All right. Well, that sounds great, and we'll try to reserve a minute or two at the end for an update if you're able to nail one down.
Oh, sure.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thanks.
Great.
Thank you. Anything else for us, Chris, or would you like a motion?
That is it, just a motion.
Okay. I'll move to add the planning and community development items 1 and 2 to next week's consent agenda.
I will second it.
We have a motion and a second to add the planning and community development items 1 and 2 to next week's consent agenda. All those in favor do so by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, nay. Motion carries. Great. Thank you, Chris.
Thank you.
And now from a different sub-department of the planning department, we have Rika and possibly Kochi here to talk about, I believe it's the completion of the 2019 bridge bundle. Yeah, and make it easy for the press, come on over to this side and take a seat, but this was like 6 or 7 years in the making. So great to see we finally crossed the finish line on those 3 important bridges. Oh, we have a slideshow on that.
I'm sorry.
There we are.
I don't know why it's appearing like. Okay, it's not coming full screen. I don't know.
That's fine.
That's okay.
We can see fine.
Yep.
Okay.
Looks good.
So, greetings everyone. Today we are here to for requesting Commissioner's approval on the final completion of the bridge report. Before that, I will be presenting some. I will be giving some review of the project. So let's start with the slide. So this slide provides an overview of a county bridge bundle project, which includes the bridge replacement in Howard and Bellefonte Borough. The project is a team effort. It mainly involves the Center County Commissioners, the Pennsylvania Department of Transportation, and the Center County Planning Office. By working together, they are able to plan, fund, and complete these important bridge projects. The main goal of the project were simple: keep communities connected, reduce travel delays, improve safety, support local business and economy, and use funding wisely. The slides also shows the project team. The Larson Design Group was handling the engineering design. Glenn Hawbaker was in charge of construction. East Group was providing construction inspection, and PennDOT and Center County were responsible for funding and overall site. So just to revise, out of the 5 bridges included in the bridge bundle project, 3 rehab projects were completed in 2024, and the 2 replacement projects we are presenting today were completed in 2025. This slide highlights one of the bridges recently completed, the Mill Street Bridge over Lick Run in Howard Borough. The original bridge was built in 1915 and served the community for more than 100 years before it was replaced in 2025. Importantly, this structure provides the sole access to a residential neighborhood as well as access to a boat launch at Bald Eagle State Park, making it a critical community connection. Prior to the replacement, the bridge was in poor condition as shown in the before photo due to its age and deterioration. Okay. And the replacement was necessary to ensure the continued safety and accessibility. The after photo shows the newly constructed bridge with improved structural integrity, roadway safety, and long-term reliability for the residents and visitors. So these slides highlight the Railroad Street Bridge over Buffalo Run in Bellefonte Borough. The bridge is standing for full century since its construction in 1925 and was finally replaced in 2025. It is located within the Nittany Valley Planning Region and carries Railroad Street over Buffalo Run in Bellefonte Borough. The previous structure was in poor condition and served as the only access point to a nearby neighborhood, making its replacement especially important for safety and connectivity. On the right side of the slide, the before photo shows the old bridge, which was narrow and aging. The after photo shows the newly completed bridge, featuring improved roadway width, updated guide rails, and enhanced safety features. So, on this slide, we are looking at a comparison of budgeted versus actual cost for the bridge project. The table here breaks down the major project items: engineering and design with environmental clearance, utility relocation, right-of-way acquisition, construction, final design, and construction inspection. For each of these items, you can see both the original budget and what was actually spent. Overall, the budget was $3,030,000, while actual cost came in approximately $4,660,000, resulting in total overrun of about $1,630,000. So, notably, some items exceeded the budget significantly, particularly engineering design and the construction portion. This one. And others like right-of-way acquisition and final design came in under the budget. To address this overrun, adjustments were made. The County Act 13 contribution was increased from $175,000 to over $1.6 million. And fee for local use went from $725,000 to $900,000. And these were approved via resolution of 18 of 2023 and 18 of 2024. So this slide outlines the funding source breakdown of the Bellefonte and Howard Bridge Bundle project. The two municipalities contributed a combined total of $60,000 in local fund, with $30,000 provided by each community. PennDOT provided the funding through the reimbursable multimodal grant totaling $2,070,000, which covered 97.18% of the construction cost. Centre County made major contribution totaling $2,563,116.16. A total of $900,000 was allocated from $5 fee for local use fund, and $1,663,116 was allocated from Act 13 Bridge Fund. So altogether, the project has $4,693,116 in total allocated funding, and currently $188,355 is pending payment, and after the payment, $32,854 and 76 cents remains available. So in summary, first, it is important to note that Centre County does not own any bridges. However, commissioners secure a $2,070,000 PennDOT multimodal fund grant in 2021 to support construction cost for these replacement projects. In addition to the grant, the county funded engineering, right-of-way acquisition, utilities, and related construction expenses and consulting services through the fee for local use and Act 13 at-risk bridge fund. The municipalities of Howard and Bellefonte Borough also contributed a combined of $60,000. Overall, Center County contributed $2,530,261.40, which represents approximately 54.3% of the total project cost. On this timeline side, the final physical completion was achieved on November 14, 2025. Punch list items were completed on November 17, 2025, and the certificate of final completion was received on February 17, 2026. So the action, at this time, the action being requested is the Commissioner's approval of the final completion report. Yeah. Thank you.
Great, thank you, Rika. We've been
Thank
working on this for a long time.
Yes.
Both bridges were the only way in and out of those neighborhoods. And one bridge was 100 years old, and the other one was 110 years old. Amazing they lasted that long. And obviously, the Borough of Howard and the Borough of Bellefonte could not have afforded to fix these bridges. It was a combination of the state money, which we're very grateful for, although I think this goes all the way back to Governor Wolf, and then the significant contribution from the county between the $5 fee and the Act 13 bridge money. So very glad to see this is completed and that we're saving probably well over a dozen houses from a affordable housing standpoint. Because obviously, if you can't get to the house, you can't live in it. Commissioner Concepcion?
Yeah, thanks for all the work that went into this, also to Kochi, who was, critical to this process throughout most of it. It really shows how incredibly expensive it is to repair bridges, and we know that, throughout Pennsylvania, there's many, many bridges in rural areas that are in need of reinforcement or reconstruction, and, I'm glad that we were able to tackle these, and, the MPO continues to monitor bridges throughout the county in terms of which ones are most critically at need of replacement or reinforcement. So, yeah, thank you. It was a good strategy to bundle these bridges together, but it's still a big lift. So.
Yeah, very big lift. Commissioner Dershowitz?
Well, I think the takeaway from this is you have two fairly modest-sized bridges for $4.5 million. That shows you the cost of doing business and transportation these days. I mean, that's a lot of money for,
Yeah.
And it's kind of stark. And if you have a takeaway from this, it's like, whatever we can do to maintain the integrity of the bridges that we have, whatever that might be, it's certainly worth it to prolong their life, because the replacement is just incredible. But thank you for the hard work you put into this and the families that are positively impacted by the construction of these two. And I'm sure the boroughs of Howard and Bellefonte really appreciate all the effort and certainly the opportunity to have access to properties that otherwise would be almost marooned. So thank you.
Thanks. Any questions from the press on this item? No? All right, looks like we could take a motion then.
All right, I'll move that we approve the final completion report for the 2019 Center County Bridge Bundle Project.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve the final completion report for the 2019 Center County Bridge Bundle Project. All those in favor do so by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, nay. Motion carries. Great. Thanks, Rika
Thank you.
and
Thank you.
Kochi. Appreciate it. And then we'll have Norm coming up from 911, and I know Aaron had some fun with the name here, but the Bloody Skillet area is a major destination for our ATV enthusiasts and a number of different types of outdoor recreation. So, Norm, take it away.
Consider approval of a right-of-way agreement with the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania acting through the Department of Conservation and Natural Resources to provide the county a right-of-way for the Bloody Skillet Tower and access to the tower. The Bloody Skillet Tower site in Curtin Township will be part of our conventional radio system build-out to cover these rural areas with some radio coverage issues. There will be no costs for this agreement to the county for the period of February 24th, 2026 through February 23rd, 2061.
And this is in far northeastern Center County, not far from Orviston, and maybe a bit north of Monument, for those of you who have been to those two small communities. Commissioner Concepcion, anything?
Yeah, no, this makes sense.
Commissioner Dershowitz?
Actually, I'm curious, what's the expanse of the radio coverage that this provides? I know that
It'll-
that area is in kind of a,
It'll cover the Bloody Skillet ATV Park and Orviston also, where it kind of sits down in a valley.
Yeah.
We
Great.
hope to pick up that coverage area, and then the other areas up there is covered by our trunking system, so.
I would almost think that it will extend somewhat into Clinton
It
County.
will also extend on the other side into Clinton County also.
All right, thank you.
Yeah, on the weekend, that area is a huge hub of activity.
Yes.
Dozens, maybe even hundreds of different people enjoying nature.
Yeah, usually one or two incidents there a year. that
Yeah.
Involves multi-county resources.
Yes,
Yeah. Okay.
Thank you.
great.
I'll move then that we approve the right-of-way agreement with DCNR for the Bloody Skillet Tower.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve the right-of-way agreement with DCNR for the Bloody Skillet Tower. All those in favor do so by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed nay. Motion carries, and you've got a couple of more items, I believe.
Yeah, next three, consider approval of a PA state contract with Center Communications to provide a build-out of the 800 megahertz repeater system at the Bloody Skillet Tower site. This will include the installation of the repeater station, including equipment and labor. The contract total is $67,317 for the period of March 1st, 2026 to December 31st, 2026. The next one is consider approval of the contract with Mission Critical Partners to provide professional support service for another phase of our capital improvement projects at 911 tower sites. This year's focus will be on renewing surge protection or reviewing surge protection. The contract total is not to exceed $50,000 for a period of March 1st, 2026 to February 28th of 2027. And then the last one is a contract addendum with the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, acting through the Pennsylvania State Police for the interoperability and site sharing agreement that was previously approved by the state and the county in 2017. The Bloody Skillet Tower site will be part of the conventional radio system build-out. This was basically, we're taking over responsibility for that tower site. There'll be no cost to the county for the period of October 2nd, 2017 to October 1st, 2037.
Great, thanks for covering those, Norm, and a lot of back office work and expense for the county to ensure that we're moving toward a goal of 98, 99% radio coverage for emergency responders absolutely anywhere in the county.
We've been working on these agreements since last spring, and they're finally moving forward, so.
Right. Great. Questions, Commissioner
I don't
Concepcion?
have, thank you.
Commissioner Dershowitz?
I presume that there's a shelter, a building up there? that
There's
will-
no shelter, there's a monopole tower, 140-foot monopole tower with an outdoor cabinet.
Okay, so we don't need to provide any shelter for any?
No shelter, just to be an outdoor cabinet.
Okay,
All
great.
right.
Good to hear. All right, thank you.
Okay.
We're ready then?
I will make a motion then that we add the 911 emergency communication items 2 through 4 to next week's consent agenda.
I will second that.
We have a motion and a second to add items 2 through 4 for the 911 emergency communications to next week's consent agenda. All those in favor do so by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed nay, motion carries. Great,
Thank
thanks,
you.
Norm.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. And now Chad has a new software purchase for us.
Yes, good morning. Today I have a contract with Freshworks. This is software that provides an IT ticketing system. So it'll allow us to manage service requests and track IT incident responses. So this contract total is $14,112 and for a period of February 11th, 2026 to February 10th, 2027.
Great. Well, thanks for covering that, Chad, and I know we'll be needing that as we continue more progress in the IT department.
That's right.
Questions, Commissioner Concepcion?
No, that sounds okay. Freshworks sounds like something food related, but
The software
does, yes.
companies come up with all kinds of cute names.
it does.
That's all good, thank you.
One of the better ones is, I think, Facility Dude.
Yes, that's the one our facilities management department
Yes.
uses for very similar things.
Yeah. All right, looks like we could take a motion.
I'll move that we add the contract with Freshworks, Inc. to next week's consent agenda.
We have a motion and a second to add the contract with Freshworks, Inc. to next week's consent agenda. All those in favor do so by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, pose nay. Motion carries. Thanks, Chad.
Thank you.
And do you have the update, David?
So I've been on the phone with our engineering department, they're looking into it.
All right.
Trying to get
We
the
could
number.
Just give us,
Send us
give
an
us a little
email.
more
Just-
time.
yeah, just drop
Kathy's
a-
got a
drop
bunch
an
of
email to
contracts
us,
for
and
our
that's
super
fine.
department.
Okay,
Yeah,
great, thank you.
all right,
thank you.
This won't take long,
all right.
I don't think. Okay, 5 contract addenda. All 5 are for the time period July 1st, 2025 through June 30th, 2026. The first is an addendum with North Star Support Services. This is for our Intellectual Disabilities Department to provide additional funding in the amount of $5,000 to offer additional supports coordination services. This will increase their contract from $5,000 to $10,000. Most of that is state funding. The county match portion is $461. The second is an addendum with CNS Contract Speech Language Pathology Services. This is what we know as Blair Therapies for our early intervention department. The additional funding is to provide all of our array of early intervention services, and this increases their contract from $30,000 to $79,000. They're providing a huge amount of early intervention services for us, and so we need to get some funds moved over for them. The county match portion of that contract is $7,900. The third addendum is with Community Services Group for our mental health department to provide additional psych rehabilitation services for us. The increased amount is $20,000 and increases their allocation from $30,000 to $50,000. Majority of that is state funding, and the county match portion is $2,305. The fourth contract addendum is with Crossroads Counseling. This is to their mental health contract with our department, and the increase is to provide additional psychiatric and psychotherapy services for us. The increase is for $12,000, and this will increase their contract from $25,000 to $37,000. The majority of that, again, is state funding, and the county match portion is $1,706. The final addendum is with Eagle Valley Personal Care Home, and this addendum is to acknowledge a change in their corporate name. They are doing some restructuring in their program. So this will be a change in the name and the tax identification number for the program that we contract with. And so the name change will be to Eagle Valley Residential Services. The work statement, the services, the rates, everything remains the same. It's just for accounting purposes and the restructuring, the contract name will change, the tax ID number will change. So nothing else changes. We're just doing the addendum to acknowledge that, document it for them and for their accounting purposes. So everything else stays the same, it's just a name change.
Great, well, thanks for covering
So
those.
those are our contract addendas for today.
Thanks for covering those 5 contract addendas, Kathy, and 5 great county partners here. Questions,
good.
Commissioner Concepcion? Commissioner Dershowitz?
Good, thank you.
All right.
I'll move then to add the MHID, EI, DNA items 1 through 5 to next week's consent agenda.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to add the MHIDEI drug and alcohol items 1 through 5 to next week's consent agenda. All those in favor, do so by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries. Great. Thank you, Kathy. That was pretty quick. And now Carrie has some budget modifications.
Yes, here for the board to consider approving a submission of a project modification request to the Pennsylvania Commission on Crime and Delinquency. This is for our Justice Assistance Grant that funds the caseworker position in the Public Defender's Office. So that grant began October 1 of 2024, is scheduled to run through September 30th of 2026 currently. It's a little over $220,000. So just submitting a modification to change some of my existing line items involving training. So, when we prepare these grants, we don't often know specifically what training the individual is going to want to go to, or location and costs associated with that. So sometimes we have to tweak the grant midstream. So they've identified a training, so I need to modify some of those categories. And then we have client supportive services involved in this grant, things like transportation for clients that the PD's office is working with, rental assistance, evaluations, things like that. And we had client clothing. So the last PMR I did, we removed that item, the dollar amount associated, because they had enough clothing. Well, then the clothing was damaged due to a leaky pipe and there was some mold. So we need to plug some money back in. So we have funds that were not spent on some other existing categories. So just repurposing along the line items. And then in the future, in the next couple months, I'll be back before the board because we can get a 1-year no-cost extension. Because we certainly want to spend the whole award amount. So, so we'll be pursuing that. I didn't tie them together because that extends the process at the state level. And this way, they can process this just modification a little more quickly. When you do an extension, it kind of drags out. So.
All right. Well, thanks for covering that, Carrie, and we do appreciate the state funding for the Justice Assistance, or as we call it, the JAG grant. Commissioner Concepcion.
Yeah, this makes a lot of sense, and thanks for keeping track of all this so that we're reporting appropriately.
That's why I have all my spreadsheets.
Yes. Commissioner Dershowitz.
I'm sure Dave and the whole crew over at the Public Defender's Office appreciate your efforts, so thank you.
Yes, glad to help.
I'll move then that we approve the project modification request for the Justice Assistance Grant.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve the project modification request for the Justice Assistance Grant. All those in favor do so by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries. Great, thank you, Carrie.
Thank you.
We have a very small consent agenda today.
Move that we approve this week's consent agenda.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve this week's consent agenda. All those in favor do so by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, nay. Motion carries, and over to the check run.
Okay. The check that I'd like to highlight today is to Strawberry Fields. They're one of our very critical partners in terms of mental health and intellectual disability services. So with that, I would move we approve the check run dated February 20th.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve the check run dated February 20th. All those in favor do so by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, nay. Motion carries. All right, moving on to our letter of support. We have two very patient people here. I think it's Reverend Ruth, and then I hope I don't mangle this one. Is it
Si-Wing Yu.
Woo. Okay, I was close. Thank you. Sorry about that.
Yeah, thank you all for having us. We're here because I've been here a little over a year. I'm the rector of St. John's Episcopal Church, and Si-Wing is the leader, newly commissioned, of our new grants committee. And we're here to ask for you to approve a letter of support that you would write for us to the Keystone Grants Historic Preservation Grant. And what that means is that you're not endorsing anything about what we believe, or it's more just if they get a letter with your approval. I've also sought, my bishop, and I forget who else we reached out to, and the mayor as well. But it's more just to let them know that we have community support, and we would want that for the community. We host a lot of things that happen at the church, in our parish hall, and in the main building, and it's open for all kinds of events. And specifically, our steeple, which is the last historic steeple that's left in Bellefonte. I think there were 9 at one point, but it needs repair that is above and beyond what your average parishioner can pledge to cover. Unfortunately, with mainline Protestant churches sort of shrinking in membership, parishioners can't be expected to foot that bill. But we would love to be able to preserve that, to afford it, And, any kind of structural deterioration there might interrupt the things we do in the community. So I'm going to let Siwing talk more about the grant, and we can take any questions you might have.
Thanks.
Hello, Commissioners. Thank you for this opportunity to talk to you about our project and our grants. As Reverend Ruth said, we're a church in Bellefonte, and we've been a part of this community since at least 1825. Our current building is on the corner of Lamb and Allegheny Streets. It was built in 1871, so that's when our steeple was built as well. It dates all the way back to there. We're a congregation that's very active in our community, not only spiritually active, but we have community dinners and we host concerts at our Bellefonte Victorian Christmas, and we do all kinds of outreach at local hospitals, prisons, etc. So we're an outreaching kind of organization. So our steeple restoration project, we started planning for it last year, and right now the scope of the project is to replace the shingles which have curled, and I think they were last replaced in the 80s or 90s, replace a cross that was damaged by a windstorm last year, as we had those really big ones the past few years, and then replace any deteriorated wood or metal parts that are associated with the structure. The structure is 75 feet tall of wood on top of a 50-foot tall stone base, so we need a specialist to help us with that. And so we did reach out to a steeplejack, so a specialist that only does steeples as well as gold domes on top of churches and government buildings. So we reached out to him. And we're reaching out to more specialists on multiple quotes. But as Reverend Ruth said, this is a costly project, and it's an important one. We're part of the Bellefonte Historic District, which is nationally listed, as you know. The steeple is a part of that town's architecture. It's important to do this kind of preventative maintenance stuff now rather than let it keep deteriorating. So that's why we're applying for grant funding. And one of the grants we're applying for is the Keystone Historic Preservation Construction Grant. It's administered by the Pennsylvania Historical and Museum Commission, so a state grant. The purpose of the grant is to preserve, restore, or rehab publicly accessible historic buildings, especially ones that are listed or eligible to be listed in the National Register, which we are being in the Historic District. And part of the grant application is to do some community outreach to get some letters of support, and that's why we're here today. And I'll take any questions.
Well, thanks for covering that, Siwing and Reverend Ruth. It is a beautiful church. I visited it several times there in downtown Bellefonte. Your whole complex is kind of across the street from the Bellefonte Elementary. And unfortunately, I think you're right, it is the last really tall steeple remaining in the downtown Bellefonte area. Commissioner Concepcion?
Yeah, thanks for coming in to talk with us a little bit about the project. It's important that we maintain our historic buildings in downtown Bellefonte. I'm happy to support this.
Commissioner
I might
Dersh?
say,
Yeah.
without being presumptuous, if you all want us to send a sample letter that you might write, then you could go from there.
That's always
Yes.
helpful. Yes. Yep.
Whatever. Oh, you've got, that's right.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay, so you have it for us to sign after this,
Yeah.
great.
Yeah. Commissioner Dershowitz?
Well, I would be remiss if I didn't say that I have the deepest respect for one of your former clergy who I work with on a variety of different things, with Alex Dykew. And Alex, I had the utmost respect for, and since he has passed. But one of my favorite things about your church was when Alex went to New York, got the corned beef, brought it down for the big St. Patrick's Day event that you folks always hosted. So I will tell you, I can heartily support your community outreach through all those wonderful meals that you serve there. And in Alex's memory, I would heartily support this recommendation. So.
We'll spread that word. And the corned beef and cabbage is coming up
Oh.
in March.
Oh.
We do it every year. We're carrying it on in his tradition.
Well, please let Aaron know so that
Is
those
it
of
coming
us
from
who
New York like
appreciate
Alex
that.
used to make the run?
That's what they did. Did they do that last year? I'm not entirely sure.
But they're going to try to bring it back. That's the important part.
Yeah, no, we did it last year, and I honestly can't remember where they got the corned beef
All
from,
right.
but it
Well, I know where
tasted
he
like
got his corn.
We'll do email
Sounds
Aaron with the
wonderful.
date and time on that.
That's fantastic. Thank you.
Yes, thanks.
Appreciate it.
So, I think unless Jacob has a question, oh, he does.
Maybe one or two, real quick. Would you be willing to share with us how much you're seeking in the grant, or how much, I guess, it might be a little early to determine overall project costs, but maybe how much you think you might need to make the necessary repairs or adjustments?
Well, we just did speak to that.
Yeah, so we have one quote so far, and again, from a steeplejack. So right now, his quote is just over $200,000. And as I said, it's not just to replace shingles, but while we have a specialist, might as well replace whatever needs to be done. Yeah, this particular grant funds up to $100,000. So we're just gonna ask for the maximum amount and try to fundraise for the rest of it, yeah.
That was going to be my next question. Actually, if you had any other fundraisers, like a fundraising dinner or any events planned or will be planning them in the future?
Yeah, we have fundraisers like that St. Patrick's Day dinner or like other dinners and kind of small events. We would do kind of a much more, I guess, targeted promotion of this project. Regardless of whether we get grant money, it's just time to promote it and to get community buy-in. And along with that, we're also applying to other grants. We did apply to one in January, so if possible, we would try and match the grant money together if that's allowed by those granting organizations. Yeah.
Those are the only questions I had. Thank you.
Great. Thanks, Jacob. Right, looks like we're ready for a motion.
I would be glad then to move that we approve the letter of support for St. John's Episcopal Church in Bellefonte.
I will second that.
We have a motion and a second to approve the letter of support for St. John's Episcopal Church in Bellefonte. All those in favor, do so by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed, nay, motion carries. Great. Thank you for coming,
Thank you.
Sea-Wing and Reverend Ruth. Thanks for your patience.
We'll see you in a couple of weeks then.
Yes.
Yeah, so be on the lookout. We just had a big pancake dinner last
Ooh.
week.
Oh,
I've been
all right.
there for that too.
All right, do we have a voters? Oh, yeah, you're welcome.
Indeed.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Appreciate that.
All right,
Great.
sounds
Thank
good.
you.
Thanks for coming. Do we have a voters registration report? Well, today I think that's a good thing. We're already stacking up other meetings. The Board of Commissioners meetings on March 10th and March 17th have been canceled. John, do we have any executive sessions to report or hold?
None to hold, one to report. The board met in executive session this morning from 9:32 a.m. to 9:51 a.m. to discuss a personnel matter.
Great, and I think I actually skipped over your commissioners, your administrator's report, but we probably don't have one today, right?
Well, I have a small presentation on the use of the Oxford comma, if you would.
That's good timing, good timing.
Yeah.
We're not going to miss that.
So, if you missed that comment,
No, okay.
it's very unintended.
All right, another time then.
Another time. Okay.
We'll look forward to it.
Yes. All right. The remainder of our public meeting schedule on Thursday, we have a Finance Committee at 9, Combined Board of Commissioners and Salary Board at 10. Tuesday, March 3rd, probably another very busy Board of Commissioners meeting at 10. And then Thursday, March 5th, Combined Salary Board and Board of Commissioners meeting at 10. Any additional questions from the press?
None from me.
No? All right. Well, it looks like we
It looks
get,
like we actually don't have the BOC and salary board this week on my calendar.
No.
oh, we don't? Okay, so those are optional and they're canceled.
they're not this week.
Thanks for the
Yeah,
sorry.
sorry.
catch, Amber. No problem. All right, so unless there's anything else, we'll take a motion to adjourn.
Move to adjourn at 11:23.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to adjourn at 11:23. All those in favor do so by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, nay. Motion carries, and we're on to our next meeting, right?